Honestly, I don't really know what I want my intro to be, but I want to let you guys know that I got my second shot of vaccine today, and I don't know if I'm going to be my most lively self in this video because I'm just feeling like really sweaty right now, so I'm probably going to look like really overheated, but I really wanted to film this video. But I got it done like this morning, and like I'm tired. I can like lift my arm, like they told me I need to keep moving it, but yes, this is where I'm at in my life right now. So I'm so excited that the Magical Readathon is back, and it is better than it has ever been. Honestly, when it was like the Harry Potter Readathon, it was fun and everything, and it was so fun doing your exams and trying to find a career and everything. But honestly, Orilium is way better because you actually get to create your own character, and you feel like you're really going on this journey to get to this magical school, and then we're going to do all these different things that we don't know about yet because the next readathon is going to be in April, which I'm just so excited for. Like, I already want April to be here so I can keep going with this readathon. Now, is anyone obsessed with my journal? Because I literally picked it because of the floral design on it, because Opal is an earthling and her magic is earth magic, and I had to get something that like showed that off, and I'm very keen about it. And also guys, during the readathon, G actually had this whole thing for like character creation and stuff where you could actually make an avatar for your character. So this is Opal. I'm hoping it lets me put the photo in the video because I've had a lot of trouble trying to get the photo because I wanted to put it in my notebook, because as you guys would know, this photo is the inspiration for Opal. Like, I want her just to be this like fierce magical being, so this is like her vibe. And now that I've made this character creation, I love her. Like, I love that her hair is green, I love that she has her little bow, I love that she just looks so fierce, and she is gonna like deck a bitch. But I love it so much, so I love her, and I am excited to keep going with this. Like, I love that even though Opal is me, because this is what I'm doing to get for the readathon, it still feels like she's her own person, and I love that so much. But to do the walkthrough of my journal, I hope the sun, oh, it's going way good because like I'm filming really late because I've been out all day. I'm still sleeping on my bed on the floor, which is so cute. Like, it's such a moment, I love sleeping on it. But we're getting all of our stuff from Jindabyne that's in storage this weekend, so my books will be back in my life. But I am actually not going to be unpacking them until I actually have bookshelves, and I think I can fit 8 in the 3 spaces that I have, and I'm so excited to have 8 bookshelves. Hopefully they're going to fit, fingers crossed. But my journal, yes, we need to get into this. So obviously I made my beautiful cover page. I thought this was so great, even though it's so like juvenile, but I'm obsessed with it. My favorite thing is the little viney things that I drew, but obviously Magical Readathon Orilium. And then we have the character card here for Opal, so Opal Rosewood. I've got her guild, which I will talk about a bit later, and her calling, which I've been able to fill out. Her certificate I haven't been able to do yet, and obviously I want her to be a wildling. She is from Erythea, she is an earthling type earth, and I want her to be born in an alignment. And obviously we've got information about her conduct, and then I've got her scholars traits, so all the stuff about her life's there. And then I've decided to do the character readathon here, so all the books that I need to read for, obviously for her to be a wildling from Erythea and being an earthling. So I'm going to do this probably next year, like maybe in January is when I'm thinking I might do this, because I've still got a lot of stuff that I'm trying to read before the end of the year. And also, again, I don't have my books here, so until I can sort stuff out, this is when I will do this. But again, there'll be a separate video for this so we can talk about it. Next, I have the map of the place, which I have not actually had to pronounce. It's Abbeyleec, and obviously she's from over here in Erythea, and then Orilium's here. And I had to print out the beautiful photo of Orilium Academy so that I can have this in the journal, because like it's a must. And then obviously I've got my page about Erythea so that I know all the information there, and the pages about earthlings and such. And then this is the novice path, where I only managed to get to the ash thorn tree, the mist of solitude, and the ruin of the sky, but I completed 3 prompts, so I've done it. I've gotten to the academy, which I'm so glad about. So that has got all of that in there, so hopefully That makes sense. Then obviously I have got my Traveler's Key and the books like I attempted to read, because I have a lot of stuff here that I attempted to do that didn't work out necessarily very well, but one book did. So for the novice path, I wanted to read Gods and Monsters by Shelby Mihurin, and I tried, but I had a real struggle getting through that book. Honestly, with Serpent and Dove as a trilogy, I feel like the books have just gone downhill. Like the first book was like God tier. Second book was okay. Like I'm one of the few people I feel that actually didn't mind the second book, but the third book, like I don't know, I just wanted more from it and I'm a bit disappointed about all the things. But I didn't finish it, but I have since finished the book in October, but just not in the month that I needed to do it, so that challenge didn't happen. And then I had the Ashtorn Tree, which is to read Queen of Ruin by Tracy Banghart, and this was one of the books that I originally had on my TBR as well, and I actually managed to read it. Queen of Ruin was actually quite a good book. I really enjoyed it, and as the prompt, it's a book that keeps tempting you or at the top of your TBR. I really do feel like this was at the top of my TBR, and I've been talking about reading this book for so long. I'm glad that I finally did it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, everything was quite convenient and it ended quite like, you know, everything was cool, but I wanted there to be like more drama, but I still had a lot of fun time with it. And then the next two challenges I wasn't planning on doing, but then I made it work because I wasn't getting anywhere with my TBR. So the Mist of Solitude is to read a standalone, and I didn't think I was gonna read a standalone, but then for the Because We Can Readathon, I read a book that was a standalone, and then I was like, great, I'll put this into readathon so I can at least get 2 books read. And that was One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, so this literally fits for this prompt. It's obviously a standalone. I enjoyed it. I'm so glad that I managed to make this happen, because I was listening to this audiobook and I was like, yes, this is gonna work. So this was actually my first read of the readathon, and I finished this literally in the second half of the month. So at this point I was getting stressed. Like I read 3 books, I made it happen, but I was getting very stressed about it. So obviously I was starting to panic here because I'd only read 1 book and Gods and Monsters wasn't happening, so I picked up Queen of Ruin to try and get it read, and obviously I did read it in the month, but I still wanted to have a backup in case that didn't happen. So I was looking at all the challenges, trying to find any book that I have that would fit for a challenge. But then I looked at the challenge for Ruin of the Sky, which is obviously read a book featuring ghosts / haunted house or other supernatural elements, and Cemetery Boys. Julian, who is one of the main characters, is a ghost. He is dead. He is just chilling there. And so obviously Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas fit perfectly for this challenge. So I was able to make it happen, which I'm just like so glad about, because like I was stressed. I was so stressed. Like I thought it wasn't going to work out well. I really didn't want to fail on the first challenge, and I really don't want to just be like, oh, I'm going to just do it anyway. Like obviously I would have, but I feel better knowing that I actually managed to read 3 challenges out of the 2 that we were meant to read. And then obviously for Tower of Rumination, I had The Princess Will Save You by Sarah Henning. There was no hope it was happening. I tried to read as much as I could, but I also did start working again, and I feel like that did limit the amount of reading I was actually getting done. But as I said, like out of 5 challenges, even though I was originally only going to do 3, I read 3 books. I'm proud of that. I managed to do something, and I'm just so glad I managed to get through. That is all the books that I read. But to continue on with my notebook, I have the Novice Path, where I actually wrote down all of the questionnaires that they had on Twitter, because G said that there was going to be questions and what we answered to them was going to lead us somewhere, and I'm really excited about where it actually did lead us. It's so exciting. Obviously I have the Ashtorn answer, and then we have the Mist of Solitude, and what's really exciting is with the Mist of Solitude, obviously you go into the mist and it shows you your worst fears, and you have to try and get out of there, and obviously you use what response gets you out of there. And with the stories that she was writing, because with each one she was doing this kind of like walkthrough story thing to explain what was going on so that you knew a bit more about what you were going to answer for, and she mentioned Opal, so she put Opal in the story, and this is just evolving Opal's character even more. So what she wrote after Opal went into the mist is, Opal flings the front door of her family's house with a laugh on her lips, which changes into a scream of horror as her 5 siblings, parents and grandparents are dead on the floor, bodies contorted in a pool of blood. As she holds her sister's cold hand and fights the sobs, she sees a note nearby. You could have saved them, but you left. Like, that's dark. That is dark, but oh my god. But I love so much that her writing this little bit of a snippet into Opal's life really expands on her character for me, because obviously with Opal, she lives with her grandparents and her parents and her 4 siblings in this massive house. So it's like a multi-generational thing going on here, and they all care about each other so much, and it's very much like a big community here in this little village that they're living in, which is very adorable. And the way that I figured out too is she's got 3 sisters and 1 brother. I haven't given those people identities because that's 4 people to give names to, but like, she's the oldest of the 5, and obviously with her fear, she would never want her family to be unprotected or for them to get hurt, and she wasn't there. And I'm just so excited that was in the story. But basically I've got all this written about like which things I did and which prompts I picked, and what happened is that these prompts and questions and stuff helped you pick your guild. So there is 4 basic houses in this world, and I did not write them all down, but there's the Order of the Crescent, the House of the Akane, the Mind Walkers, and the Alchemist, I think that's what it is. So it's kind of cool too, because like we all get put into one of these based off our answers, even though when I did it, I was actually tied between the Order of the Crescent and the House of the Akane, but I ultimately picked the Order of the Crescent because this is the one for Earthlings mainly to go into, and people that want to do stuff on animals and shape-shifting, and there's a lot of really cool stuff that you can do, I think. And what's really cool too is every guild will have an advantage or a disadvantage that will help you in the readathon, and I'm sure no one's actually going to be that severely like left behind depending on what house they are. And the Order of the Crescent has actually been the most popular that I've noticed. But what's also really cool is with the House of the Crescent is you get to learn to have a familiar. And do you guys remember in my TBR video when I said that Opal had a tiger as a familiar? Well, I'm gonna have to rewrite it so that she finds her tiger familiar in the Orilium Academy and to make it a thing here. But the only problem too is obviously, again, with my photo of my girl here, Opal, is I decided to put this frog on her head, and I thought it was really cool at the time, but now I'm thinking it's going to confuse people because her familiar is going to be a tiger, not a frog, even though it would work. I just wanted to try and add a little bit more of this earth element with her being like really good with animals and a frog sitting on her head, but it's still going to be a tiger. I really should give her tiger familiar a name, but it's going to happen when we obviously make her familiar. Obviously, having the guilds revealed, we were able to add a lot more information to our character card, which I think is really cool. So obviously she's Order of the Crescent. Her calling is Master of Elements, even though she only does earth magic. So I hope there wasn't something else I was meant to write, because here it's got unique calling, unique gift, unique conduct, guild specialty, and guild access and stuff. But the question does say calling, and the only thing that it says on here is unique calling, Master of Elements, but obviously she's an earth elemental, so she is going to be doing that. And her conduct is going to be a bow, which is also ironic because like look in the photo, she has a bow and arrow because she shoots people, not animals, obviously, because she's a good girl. But I think it would be hilarious that she's just like, no, I don't hunt for sport, I kill people because they suck. I love her, like I love her so much. But that's basically where my journal's at, and I'm gonna completely keep this going as like a continuation of her studies and her story and her life. And I'm so obsessed. Like I also have the exact same journal except with world maps on it for when I've been traveling, even though I haven't been able to travel for like the longest time. But like I love this so much, and I'm so sorry that I've just been drowning on and on and on and on and on and on about this, but like I'm very excited about it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me talking about my character. And please let me know down below what guild you guys are in so that I can see what seems to be more popular around my favorite peoples on here, because I would really love to know. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!